Welcome to Align Christ-Centered Yoga. My name is Linda and I'll be guiding our practice today. My question for you as you begin today is this. How much do you resist doing the things you know you need to do to get what you need and want? I have a 2-year-old friend, Maddie Sue, and this girl knows when she needs sleep. She will sign sleep. She says, sleep, sleep, sleep. She says it while she's in her bath. She says it while you're reading a book to her. She says it while she gets her milk bottle. And you put her in bed and she will not sleep. She cries and she yells and she calls out to you for 10 to 20 minutes before she goes down. I think this is our nature. In Romans 7, Paul is talking about his own battle with doing the things that he knows he should do to draw closer to God, to draw nearer to Christ, to be more like Christ. And yet he cannot do it. He says this, I do not do the good I want to do, but the evil I do not want to do. And this I keep on doing. Now, if I do what I don't want to do, it is no longer I who do it, but it is sin living in me that does it. So I find this law at work. Although I want to do good, evil is right there with me. In my inner being, I delight in God's law. But I see another law at work in me, waging war against the law of my mind and making me a prisoner of the law of sin at work within me. What a wretched man I am. Who will rescue me from this body that is subject to death? Thanks be to God who delivers me through Jesus Christ our Lord. And the next chapter starts with this verse, therefore there is no condemnation for those who live in Christ Jesus. We have this nature that wants to draw us away from the things that we know that we need and want, from the abundant life that Christ has for us, this life of joy and love and peace and forgiveness. Instead, we forget, we fight, we move away, we drift into bitterness, into apathy and complacency and cynicism. How do you resist? What is your form of resistance? Maybe you fight it. Maybe you stick your head in the sand and pretend it isn't there. In this practice today, I invite you to reflect on that. And this is a practice of binds. And as we do it, bind yourself to the goodness and the mercy and the grace of Jesus and all that he wants for you. Come to a comfortable seated position, maybe elevating your hips up on a blanket or a block. Rock a little side to side, front to back. Find your sitting bones. I invite you to close your eyes. Maybe take a deep breath in as you draw your shoulders to your ears, and maybe there's an audible exhale through the mouth as you drop your shoulders. 2 more times here. Can you let go of that tendency to fight or resist? Closing your eyes, let the day fade away. Give yourself permission to be fully present during your practice. Spending this time with Jesus, reflecting on your life, moving closer towards him, drawing near to him. He is with you. Begin to notice how the breath moves today. Breathe a little more fully as you inhale down the body, as you exhale up the body. And again today, as you move through your practice, I invite you to open yourself up to obedience. Open yourself up to leaning in to the things, the disciplines that transform, the disciplines that renew and ignite. Let go of resistance. The arms come down to your side. On that next inhale, begin to connect movement and breath, arms rising high. And exhale, interlace the fingers and find cat. Then press the hands forward, deep breath in as the arms rise. And exhale, opening up the chest as the hands come down behind you. Cow pose. Just come through this, arms rise. Exhale into cat. Press those arms forward and up. Turn the palms inside out. And exhale your way back into cow. 2 more times here. As you settle into this cat pose, finding surrender. Opening up into cow. Finding courage, self-control. Deep breath in, arms rise. 1 more time. Find your cat, find your cow. Find your rhythm as you begin to pace with your breath. Feel the breath of God moving through you, His Spirit alive. And 1 more deep breath in, palms up and together, and exhale, hands to heart. Just take 3 breaths here and just consider the form of resistance that you settle into most quickly. Maybe you're a fighter. Maybe you just stick your head in the sand and ignore the things that you know you need to do. Maybe you lean into distractions and busyness. What is your form of resistance? As you're ready, let your hands come down. Go ahead and meet me in butterfly. So our feet will come together, knees out to the side. Again, finding the sitting bones, let those knees come up and down, just noticing how tight you are. Maybe there's a lot of resistance today. Maybe those knees come all the way down to the mat. I can already tell you that this is going to be a tighter practice for me. Give yourself permission to make the practice work for you. Right? Maybe you need to make some modifications along the way. Maybe you push a little harder, go a little further. Maybe you pull back. Settle here, find your stretch. Taking a deep breath in, can you lengthen through the spine and hinge a little bit at the hip? Maybe as you hold on to your feet, there's a little bit of a massage in the arch of that foot. I invite you to take 1 more breath here. As you're ready, release. Go ahead and bring your right leg behind you, your front leg in front in a pinwheel, and gently just lift and lower this front knee. Rock on the hips. Check in, notice sensation in the hips, in the back. Begin to add the movement of the body, dropping the head and the shoulders and the ribs and rising up. And a few more times here. As you're ready, let the knees come down and bring your body over the leg. And just center over that leg and find your stretch here and support your head. So maybe you're supporting your head in your hands. Maybe it's all the way down to the mat. Maybe it is up on a block. Find your breath. Flex the feet, noticing the effects that that has on the stretch. And maybe that knee comes forward a little bit as the hip crease draws back. Just imagine the thigh lengthening, getting longer. Gently take a deep breath in, pressing into the hands and rise up. I invite you to go the other direction. The right leg now in front, lift and lower. Again, checking in, maybe sensations are a little different on this side. As you're ready, gently draw the head down, shoulders, ribs. Just imagine a wave crashing over that knee, rising up again. And then as you're ready, let that knee come down, center the body over the leg. Flex the feet. Press the head down. Find your breath. Find length in the spine. One more breath here. Taking a deep breath in, press into your hands and rise up. Go ahead and bring both legs out to the side and just draw the heels in and out a couple of times. And then windshield wiper the feet, bounce the knees, take hands to hip crease, begin to draw those hips down and back a little bit. Deep breath in, hinge forward at the hip and just go wherever you go. So don't worry about what it looks like. Notice what it feels like. Begin to play a little bit with the rotation of the toes. Are they out to the side? Are they pointing in a little bit? It will just change the stretch. Again, maybe as you inhale, you can lengthen through the spine. I invite you to stay here for a couple more breaths. Gently press into your hands and rise. I invite you to meet me in table. Wrists are directly underneath the shoulders, knees are underneath the hips. Draw the elbows a little bit in, the shoulders a little bit around and back. From here, find cat and cow again, just releasing through that back. One more time, cat to cow. And as you're ready, curl the toes under, draw knees into the rib cage, hip crease draws up towards where the ceiling meets the wall. Shake your head out, no and yes. Pedal through your feet, move those hips a little bit. Deep breath in, heels rise. Exhaling, heels come down to the mat. Find your breath here. Deep breath in, right leg rises high. Drawing the gaze forward, bring the foot in between the hands and still warming up here. Let that back knee tap down and up. Notice what's going on in the psoas in the front of that hip. Think about all the places that your body binds. One of the things I find so fascinating about Romans 7 is that Paul is referring very fluidly to his mind, to his body, to his spirit. Go ahead and let the body or the knee come down. Pressing into that left hand, the hand inside that front leg, sweep the right arm up. Reach up, and then go ahead and turn that palm around towards the back. Bring the back of the hand to the small of the back. And maybe flip the hand, maybe bring the hand underneath. Just explore, as we work into binds, what does a bind look like for you today? What does it feel like? Exhale, bring that arm all the way around. If you have blocks, maybe you bring them to the base of your toes. Straighten out that back leg. Begin to play with the hamstring stretch as you straighten it and bend the front leg. Seeking alignment today, alignment with the will of God. alignment with the desires of our King. As you're ready, extend that front leg, engaging the abdominals. Let the head come down. Top of the head reaches to the mat. Shake the head out, no and yes. Find breath. Begin to let go of resistance. Resistance in the body. Resistance in the mind. Resistance of spirit and will. Or soul and will. As you're ready, go ahead and bend that front leg. Bring the front leg to the back. Meet me in plank. Gently come down all the way down to the mat. Find a low cobra or a sphinx pose. Just come in and out of it a few times. A little more warming up at the back here. As you're ready, find your way back to downward facing dog. Meet me in down dog. Settling in, notice, is there a difference right to left, maybe in the feet or the way the legs feel, the hips? Engage through the abdominals, find that strong core. Once again, surrendering your will, dying to self, aligning to the will of Christ. Deep breath in, left leg rises high, gaze comes forward as the foot comes all the way through, back knee taps down and up. Back and forth here. And as you're ready, just let that back knee come down again. Find the stretch in the psoas, front of that hip. Press into that right hand, left arm comes up. So shoulder's going to draw a little bit away from the ear. Go ahead and turn that palm. Maybe the hand just comes to the small of the back and you open up a little more here. Or maybe that arm comes all the way around. Wherever you are, find your breath. Let that arm rise and come forward. Raise that back knee up. Maybe you're finding blocks to support you in the front. Begin to straighten and bend that front leg. Noticing how does the flexibility on this side. And as you're ready, just extend through the leg, engage through the abdominals, let the head come down, shake the head out, no and yes. Gently bring the front knee over the ankle. The hips come up towards the sky as that back foot pushes off and comes forward. Meet me in that first forward fold. Maybe softening the knees a little bit. Elbows drawing towards the mat as the hands reach to the elbows. Gently moving the upper body. Taking a deep breath in, hands rise up halfway. Exhale down, take a deep breath in, rise all the way up. Go ahead and bring those hands out to the side, roll the shoulders a little forward, bring them back, and then bring those arms to the small of the back. Again, just opening up across the chest, finding that release, shoulder to shoulder. Begin to find the back bend. Deep breath in, arms rise, and exhale, forward fold. And hands to shins, rise up halfway, and exhale down, and one leg back, and then the other, and just meet me in plank. And from plank, find your back bend. Maybe today you're in chaturanga, and the heel of the hand just comes back towards the hips as you rise to hands and feet. Roll over the top of those toes, and however you choose to do it. Meet me in downward facing dog. And just checking in, noticing here. How are the feet drawing towards the mat? Maybe finding a little more strength as the fingers grip and draw towards the wrists. As the hip crease reaches to the ceiling, where the ceiling meets the wall. Deep breath in, right leg rises high, gaze forward, bring the foot all the way through, rise into a lunge. I invite you to go ahead and bring the hands out to the side. Rotate towards the inside of that front leg, drop the back arm, lift to the front. And maybe there's a cartwheel as that front arm comes across and that back arm rises. Maybe that top arm comes around into the bind. One more breath here. Taking a deep breath in, cartwheel all the way back around, rise back up into your back bend. Take those hands back behind you again, rotating, thumbs down, palms together. Open up and raise the body up and out of the hips, then interlace the fingers. Find a back bend. Deep breath in, arms rise, exhaling, hands to either side of the foot. Back foot comes to the front, meet me in forward fold. Hands to shins, rise up halfway, exhaling, come down. Come all the way up into your mountain. Hands to heart. Invite you to stay here, just noticing what you notice, what feels good. Where do you feel sensation? Is there a difference right to left? Taking a deep breath in, arms rise, exhale, forward fold. Again, just finding your flow today. Rise up halfway, come down. Find your plank. Maybe it's kneeling, maybe it's straight leg. Find your back bend. Maybe you're in chaturanga as you rise up into upward facing dog. Maybe you're still in Sphinx. Meet me in downward dog. Check in and notice. Is there a difference? One more breath here. Deep breath in, left leg rises high. Gaze comes forward, foot comes all the way through. Meet me in your lunge. Let the hands come out to the side. Find that strong lunge and then rotate those ribs as you come down into that twist. Back arm drops, front arm rises. And then just cartwheel the arms and find your twist here. Open up shoulder to shoulder. That top hand rotates to the back, maybe comes around into the bind. Taking a deep breath here, swing that arm all the way around, hand to foot. Back foot comes up to the front, meet me in forward fold. And hands to shins, come up halfway and exhale down. And deep breath in, find extended mountain as the palms rise. Exhaling, hands to heart. I invite you to stay here in mountain. Notice what's going on, body, mind, and soul. I invite you also to think about what it is right now that you want and need the most. I invite you to take another 2 breaths as you think about what it will take to get you there. Inhaling, arms rise, exhale, forward fold. Hands to shins, rise up halfway and exhale down, one leg back and then the other. Meet me in plank. From plank, come down to the mat, find your back bend. Meet me in downward dog. One more breath here in downward dog. And the next inhale, right leg rises high. Gaze forward. Go ahead and bring the arms all the way up in lunge. And this time, pivot into warrior two. Find your warrior two. There's a little hinge hip at the back, and then tuck that hip under. Begin to externally rotate that front hip, knee over ankle. Use the abdominals as you float from peaceful warrior into side angle bend. And maybe in that peaceful warrior, there's a bind. That arm wrapping around the back of the body. And one more time here. And I invite you to come all the way forward, forward, forward to a side angle bend and reach those fingertips. And straighten out the body a little bit. Maybe that top arm, the shoulder comes away from the ear. Maybe the bottom arm comes towards the mat or a block. Just come into a half bind. Maybe that top arm wrapping around. Maybe just pressing into the sacrum. Maybe shoulder stack as the arm comes into the hip crease. And then gently unwind. Meet me back in peaceful warrior. Cartwheel. Hands to either side of that front foot. Bring that front foot back. Meet me in plank. Find your way down towards the mat and into your back bend. Meeting me in downward facing dog. And just settle here and shake your head out no and yes. Engage the abdominals. Spread the fingers wide. On that next inhale, left leg rises high. Gaze comes forward, find the lunge and rise into your lunge. And pivot into your warrior. So back arm drops, front arm comes all the way up. Come over into your side angle bend. Maybe you add that bind. That back arm wrapping around the body. Coming all the way forward. Keep those legs strong in that warrior two as those abdominals move the body side to side. Meet me in side angle bend and stay here and reach and reach. And stack those shoulders and let that arm rise. And again, little distance here, shoulder to ear as you lengthen through the sides of your neck. And maybe that palm turns to the back. The hand comes to the small of the back or maybe into the hip crease. Just find your breath. And then as you're ready, release. Come back into that side angle bend. Back into that peaceful warrior. Cartwheel over. Back foot comes to the front. Meet me in that forward fold. And hands to shins, rise up and exhale down. And pressing through the feet, come all the way up. Extended mountain. Hands to heart. Again, just finding breath, just noticing how it feels as it moves through the body. Maybe you can feel your heart rate as your thumbs press into that sternum bone underneath the collarbone. Can you slow your heart rate down with a slower exhale? Deep breath in, arms rise, exhaling, forward fold. Hands to shins, rise up and exhaling down. Just press into that right foot as that left leg comes back. Meet me in the lunge. Pivot into your warrior. Back arm comes around in the bind as you come into that peaceful warrior. Come all the way forward into your side angle bend. Lengthen through the side of the body. One more time here. I invite you to come all the way over, forward into that side angle bend and then reach that arm up. Top arm maybe comes into the bind, bottom arm drops. Maybe this time there's a full bind. That bottom arm hand comes towards the back, the palm towards the back. Drop your shoulder into the leg. Connect the hands. And then deep breath in. Breathe as you open up the shoulders. Open up the chest. Draw those hips forward a little bit. A little outside weight on the outside edge of that back foot. Bind yourself to the will of God, to His desires for you, to the obedience to get there. Deep breath in. Come into that side angle bend. Push back into that peaceful warrior. And I invite you this time to cartwheel. Go ahead and bring that back foot to the front. Meet me in forward fold. And hands to shins, rise up halfway, exhaling, come down. Deep breath in, arms rise, palms together, exhaling, hands to heart. Steady. Stay here. Find breath. Taking a deep breath in, arms rise, exhaling, forward fold. Step into the left foot, right leg comes back, rise up into your lunge. Pivot into your warrior two. From here, peaceful warrior, bind that arm. Side angle bend, reach. Bring that top arm up, bring that bottom arm down. Top arm comes all the way around into that bind. Maybe the bottom arm as well. You're going to drop the shoulders forward and then bring the hips forward as the shoulders come back. Find your pose, any modification. As you're ready, release. Bring that arm forward into that side angle bend. Come back into that peaceful warrior. Cartwheel the hands over. Front foot comes to the back. Meet me in plank. And from plank, come down to the mat. Find your back bend. Meet me in downward dog. Go ahead and play with downward dog for just a moment here. Let's move the hips around, the hands, the arms, heels rise, heels come down. Press the hips a little bit up and back. Begin to engage the hamstrings as they draw in towards the hips. Engage the belly, hip to hip in the transversus muscles. The belly button drawing in and up, the rib cage softening. Breathe in as you push those arms a little further forward. One more breath here. Taking a deep breath in, right leg rises high. We're going to work towards bird of paradise. Foot comes all the way through the hands. Rise up into your lunge. Pivot into your warrior. Find peaceful warrior as your arm wraps around. Side angle bend as the arm reaches forward. Find your bind. That arm comes down, the other arm, top arm comes into the bind. Bottom arm comes through, shoulders forward, hinge. And then from here, bring that back foot up about halfway. Step into the back foot and float that right foot and begin to rise into bird of paradise. And maybe this is where you stay, or maybe that leg extends. And wherever you are, gently release and meet me at the front of your mat. Hands to heart, check in. Take a deep breath in, arms rise. Exhale, forward fold. Notice your forward fold. Has there been a shift in sensation? Notice the length of the spine, the release in the neck. Maybe shake your head out, no and yes. Hands to shins, rise up halfway. Exhale down, meet me in plank. From plank, find your flow. Meet me in downward dog. Notice downward facing dog. What's going on? What do you notice? Remember that our goal is never the pose itself. Our goal is the discovery of body within the pose. Right? How does our body feel? How can we adjust it? How can we get stronger? How can we get more flexible? Where do we need to be careful? Our goal is a better understanding of the body. One more breath. Deep breath in, left leg rises high. Gaze forward, foot comes all the way through. Meet me in lunge. Pivot into warrior two. You know where we're going. Find the bind in that peaceful warrior. Forward into that full side angle bend. Reach the top arm up, bottom arm down. Okay, so bottom arm's going to rotate. Top arm's going to come around. Drop the shoulders a little bit. Press the hips forward. Stack the shoulders. So now we're going to hop that back foot in about halfway. We're going to float that front foot. We're going to rise into bird of paradise. And maybe this is where we stay. Maybe, whoops, not on that side. If you lose a pose, it's okay. And if you lose a pose, go back to somewhere where you really have it before you challenge it. As you're ready, come out of it, shake it out. Deep breath in, arms rise. Hands to heart, stay in mountain. Find your breath again. Do you tend to hold your breath when things get hard? Do you tend to breathe more quickly when things get hard? Could noticing your breath be a way that Could noticing your breath alert you when you are about to head into a time of resistance? How does your breath shift when you are resisting? One more breath here. Deep breath in, arms rise. Exhaling, forward fold. Hands to shins, rise up halfway. Exhale down. One leg back and then the other. Meet me in plank. From plank, draw down to the knees, child to table. Gently come back into child. I invite you to stay in child's pose, adjust it for you. So maybe those knees are a little narrower or a little wider. Forearms to the mat, maybe the palms are up, maybe down. Maybe you massage across the forehead. Find breath. Surrendering human nature. Embracing the transformative power of God. Recommitting to obedience, to doing the things that we know we need to do to get what we need and want. One more breath here. Gently press into your hands and rise up. Come to sitting, bringing the feet wide on the mat, gently dropping the knees side to side. And as you're ready, go ahead and bring the feet forward. I invite you to come down onto your back. Draw the knees into your chest. Wrap your arms around your legs above or underneath and gently just rock side to side. And remember in all of us that there is no condemnation for those who love Jesus. As we love him, we obey him. As we do the right thing, our lives become abundant. Hands to the knees. Gently bring those knees away from the chest and back again, just back and forth here. Just restore a neutral spine, a natural arch to the lower back. And bring your feet down. Go ahead and gently extend the legs. Getting to find Shavasana as you windshield wiper your feet, you bounce your knees. Maybe wiggle your hips a little side to side. I invite you to take your hands up, reach for the ceiling, reach as high as you can, let the shoulders thump. Do that once more. Let the hands come all the way down, palms up. And gently turn your head side to side. Find your breath. I invite you in these final moments of your practice today to be honest with God and to ask the Holy Spirit to continue the transforming work within you, to draw your attention to those times of resistance, to realigning your will with His. As you're ready, gently bring yourself back to this time and this space, reconnecting with your breath, bringing movement back, wiggling fingers and toes, rotating wrists and ankles, turning your head side to side, from the top of one ear up and over to the top of the other. Taking a deep breath in, arms reach up and overhead and stretch as long as you can. And gently bend the knees and roll over onto your side and settle here for a couple of breaths. Taking a deep breath in, press into your hands and rise up to sitting. Crossing your legs in front of you, just find breath here, finding your sitting bones, checking in one final time, body, mind, and soul. What has changed? What has stayed the same? Accepting it as it is. Taking a deep breath in, arms rise, palms together, and exhaling, bring hands to heart. Joining me in prayer. Father, you have given us the desires of our hearts. There is so much that we know that we need, so much that we want. And yet, we fight it, we procrastinate, we ignore. We invite the continued work of your Spirit within us, drawing our attention to those places where we resist, aligning the desires of our heart with yours. It is in your name, Jesus, that we pray. Amen. Thank you for practicing with me today.